Okay, so we're back with Anthony Hackett, Tony from the Aimetis Corporation, and now what were we talking about again, Tony?
Well, you were going through a scenario with any retailer and you were bringing up all valid uses of analytics, but all those uses had more operational benefits or marketing benefits rather than an impact on loss prevention. So I just wanted to maybe highlight some of the applications where analytics can be used to help prevent or detect crimes in progress. One of those, right off of the bat, is discarded packaging. Every retailer knows that if they find a box that's been opened, laying on the ground, somebody walked out with something or is attempting to. So algorithms can be used to detect a discarded package. What we've learned from a behavior scenario is that most people that will steal will take the product to an area of the store where they feel safe, a low traffic area, for example, and they'll quickly try to discard the packaging. We will detect that, and then we can push that image to a secret shopper or loss prevention professional with a handheld device so that they can meet and greet at the exits. That's just one example. There's others as well. We talk about quick wins. You saw my presentation a couple of weeks ago where we talked about quick hits for analytics
Right.
in a best practices mode. And then one of the quick hits is in a compliance as well. We have partners that will use the technology to enforce compliance throughout the store. So they may pick a couple of stores in a region to, say, monitor the effectiveness of EAS alerts or electronic article. The towers when you leave the store and the lady forgot to scan something and the alarm goes off and you look back and she goes, don't worry about it. Retailers really don't want that to happen. They actually want someone to check your bag.
Sure.
Not that they don't trust you, but part of compliance. When we have those type of operations, at least the ones that we've been able to participate in, we see a high recovery rate. That's just one area of compliance. Another area of compliance is a lot of retailers will have third-party security companies go in and check the property, maybe per an agreement, maybe it's 2 or 3 times a night. Maybe they're supposed to check doors, make sure they're secured. In the old days, you'd have to look through 6 hours, say from midnight till 6 a.m. of video to find when those people actually showed up. You never really did it. You just hope and pray that they actually showed up. With analytics, you're able to tell when somebody's on that property, when they're not on that property. So you can quickly look at a timeline, actually see, did somebody actually show up? Yes. Did they actually get out of the vehicle? No. That's something you're able to address and enforce a compliance code that is part of a corporate policy.
So if you have the analytics in place, it's actually going to cut down on your search times.
That's probably the biggest factor right out of the gate, another quick win, if you will. Think about the time that a large organization that you mentioned spends time reviewing video. There's bodies dedicated to that that are probably better served doing other types of tasks. So if you can, say, reduce the time it takes someone to find the exact video they need, export it to law enforcement, you're increasing the efficiency and productivity of a particular department. You're reducing costs. You're saving time. The prosecutions go up, and that's good for everyone.
So we've kind of gotten into the applications with education and some of the business challenges that are out there. The increased school security, the coordinated emergency response, reduced property damage, reduced spending. I think the reduced spending is probably the biggest one out of all of them, where managers will key in on that right away. All right, so we're moved over to the analytics applications. But John, did you have a question?
Yeah, actually, I had
just hang on a second. I've got John Checco with me here, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
He's doing a broadcast with me today. So go ahead, John.
So
move over so you're in camera view.
Actually,
Yeah.
So Tony, I was just wondering. There's always been a lot of talk between convergence of physical and logical access systems. But in this question, is there really any convergence between the video analytics and any of the physical or logical access control systems?
Oh, sure. I can't speak for everybody in the industry, but I can't think of any, and I may not know, all the players, but I can't think of any analytic company that wouldn't receive just a simple I/O alert. And that can be triggered from any type of device, whether it be access control or glass break, what have you.
And what would an I/O alert be? Explain that out.
Well, your simple I/Os, your input output. So let's say I install a glass break device that would censor when the glass is actually broken. There's an I/O, an input output. When that event happens, it would trigger the I/O that would be sent into, say, our product, which would be Symphony, and that could be anywhere in the world. And you would have that alert into the system. You would know exactly what's going on. You get the alert, you get the alarm. You can choose to ignore it or respond to it. And so that's a very simple way of doing it. With regard to much more deeper integration to access control, certainly our product is well integrated into different access control products. And what does this mean? In my opinion, being out in the industry for a long time, is that the more products communicate and work together, it has a multiple effect on the overall surveillance or security program that you're looking to deploy. Certainly with access control, one of the things that we can do, for example, is if someone swipes their card, maybe they were let go yesterday, they didn't have a chance to return their card, but guess what, they're showing back up today, but they were taken out of the system. We can then trigger a camera to zoom in on that location, track and follow the individual. That alert can be sent to our system, which would then send out a text message, an email with a JPEG, or conduct some type of automated response. Maybe it locks the doors in the vestibule, depending on the degree of security you're looking to do. But certainly there's a lot of integration with access control.
Just one last question.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, what was, you've been in the business a long time, and wanted to know if you want to highlight one of your most interesting, complex, or high-profile analytic applications out there.
I wish I could. I wish I could talk about the good stuff, the real good stuff that we do, but unfortunately we're not able to talk about all of our customers. But I can tell you this, is that we just finished up Munich International Airport. I think we've done Terminal 1, Terminal 2. There's a couple terminals that will also be coming online. Right now, we've got 2,000 cameras, 1,000 I/Os coming into the system, 5,000 users. So everything from the parking lot attendants up to the airport command and control towers, if you will, are on the system. And you think about how massive that is, we're actually running that solution on 6 servers.
Wow. Data management.
And that kind of speaks to how well tuned the platform is that it's able to do video management, it's able to do analytics on a very efficient hardware platform that's very scalable. That particular job is running Sun servers, but it's significant in that you talk about 5,000 users. A lot of companies will talk about unlimited number of client connections. Well, that may theoretically be true, but unless it's really tested, it's really difficult to actually achieve something beyond, say, 50 multiple users at the same time. And we've done over 230, I believe it is now, up to 300, all concurrent users for the same camera.
That's great.
Wow, that is very good. So we've the analytic applications, be alert to loitering in a specific area around a campus, identify activities, spray painting, window break, common things you see out in the industry today, automated response, lock doors, turn something on, and email notification is, I guess, the end piece of all of that, right? Alerting IOs into email notifications to the particular actors who are responsible for those areas. As we go into retail, Tony, we talk about some of the business challenges that are out there, to improve customer service, reduce shrinkage, which is absolutely huge for the retail area, all right, and increase public safety. Could you get into the reduced shrinkage a little bit? I think that might be interesting for some of the people who may not be on the line right now, but who may be viewing this on demand later on. How do you reduce shrinkage using closed circuit television with video analytics either on the camera or on the server?
Hmm. One of the first things that you can do is really, no matter who the retailer is, you can always get them to admit 2 or 3 different products that are targets for the person stealing the goods. So the first thing you want to do is you want to target your cameras in that specific area, whether it be light bulbs or some type of iPod maybe. And then you want to be able to alert to specific activity. In a certain case of iPods, let's say it's perhaps someone that walks up, grabs the product and leaves, or maybe they take, most people only buy 1 iPod, maybe only buy 3, but if you take the whole shelf, or if you do what we call a shelf sweep, that is just not a normal behavior or business buying activity, I should say. That type of alert.
What if I'm not buying an iPod? What if because generally they're behind counters and things like that. What if I'm buying, or if I'm shopping Infamil?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an interesting thing that you bring up. We actually are working with the University of Florida, Dr. Reed Hayes' LPRC group, and we're actually working on these right now with all the major grocery chains. Trying to figure out the best way to solve these problems without inhibiting true purchases. The one thing you don't want to do is create a barrier to where a real shopper would normally, purchase the product, to them actually not even considering purchasing the product at that location, just because of maybe a plastic bin, or they have to do something that, like call an associate to get the actual product. Some of the things that we're doing there is using more of what we call with the camera technology, a 9:16 format, a corridor view, which is a narrow view, but a longer view with the camera.
Uh-huh.
The Axis camera provides that, for example, and we're looking to get greater coverage in that specific area. And we can count the number of canisters that come off. We can see if people take more than what they normally would take, and take those types of behaviors and send them into any type of notification system that the store uses, whether it be an SMS text message or a monitor up front where it would automatically populate on that screen. People can visually see and identify the distinguishing characteristics of that person, whether it be a tattoo, sneakers, clothing, what have you, to do what we call a guest intervention, where they just walk up, introduce themselves, see if they need any assistance in purchasing, or actually make an apprehension.